Thoroughbred Industrial Cylinder Exchange. Nobody makes it easier to exchange a cylinder than we do. Until now, welding gases have only been available through traditional welding gas distributors. The introduction of Thoroughbred Industrial Cylinder Exchange in your store as a supply channel has revolutionized the entire industry. Through the Thoroughbred program, your customers can purchase cylinders filled with a particular welding gas or other gases, or exchange an empty cylinder they already own for one that is full. And the availability of welding gases enhances sales of all welding equipment and related items. So be sure to let your customers know that you now have welding gas to go. As you focus on the viewing of this video, keep in mind it is an overview of basic information contained in the Thoroughbred Training Manual, which we strongly encourage you to read. In fact, from time to time, this video will refer you to the training manual for a more detailed perspective. For the safety of your customers and yourself, use extreme caution when handling the cylinders, as they contain hazardous materials under high pressure. These elements, when handled properly, represent a safe and valuable product line to your employer and a cost savings convenience to your customers. However, improper handling of either the non-flammable or the flammable gases may result in serious injury or death. For your convenience, this video has 3 sections: the transaction section, the inventory control section, and the safety section. Safety. Safety begins with product knowledge, which is your thorough understanding of what you are selling and how it is used. Above all else, remember safety first. Familiarizing yourself with welding and cutting gases will help you in identifying your customers' needs and in the safe handling of these products. Acetylene. Acetylene is used primarily as a fuel gas for welding and cutting applications. Acetylene is a flammable and explosive gas and is considered dangerous. For this reason, smoking and open flames within a 25-foot area is strictly prohibited. Oxygen is an oxidizer which accelerates combustion. Oxygen is used along with acetylene to increase the flame temperature. Because of its combustion properties, do not let oil, grease, or oil-based lubricants of any kind come in contact with any part of the oxygen cylinder, regulator, or fitting. Doing so is considered dangerous. Clothes or other materials saturated with oxygen may easily ignite. As a special note, all Thoroughbred Industrial Cylinder Exchange oxygen cylinders are for industrial use only. Argon CO2, that's argon and carbon dioxide, sometimes called mix or shielding gas, is another non-flammable gas that is actually a mixture of 2 gases, consisting of 75% argon and 25% carbon dioxide. Argon CO2 is an inert asphyxiant gas that may cause suffocation by displacing the oxygen in the air necessary to sustain life. Its purpose is to blow away particles or shield the immediate work area from contamination in a steel MIG welding application. Straight argon is 100% argon and is also an inert asphyxiant gas, and the same cautions should be used. Its purpose is the same as the argon CO2. However, straight argon is used in an aluminum MIG welding application. All of these gases are safe, useful, and necessary in many applications when handled properly. Misuse or negligence can be very dangerous. If you would like more information, visit our website at gaspony.com and download a material safety data sheet. Another step you can take in practicing safety is to memorize and apply the following 10 basic cylinder handling guidelines. 1. Use extreme caution when handling and transporting cylinders. 2. Identify cylinder contents by the Department of Transportation's shoulder label only. The DOT shoulder label provides the gas type and the UN number. Never sell or exchange a cylinder without this label. Please note, there is one exception to this rule. A new cylinder that is sold from your store that has never been filled will not have a DOT label and may be exchanged at the time of purchase. This is the only exception. 3. When handling, always treat a cylinder as if it is full. 4. Except for Lindy-style acetylene cylinders, all incoming and outgoing cylinders sizes 3 and larger, flammable and non-flammable, must have a screw-on metal cylinder cap to protect the valve. Always tighten the cap on the cylinder before moving. Never move a cylinder without the cap being secured. Refer to your training manual for more details about the Lindy-style cylinders. 5. Always take care to separate flammable and non-flammable cylinders and keep them secure in the correct and separate side of the cylinder cage. 6. Always keep cylinders upright. Never roll a cylinder on its sidewall and never drop cylinders, especially those containing acetylene. 7. Use the Thoroughbred cylinder cart and secure with a cylinder cart chain to move cylinders. 8. Smoking in open flames within a 25-foot area is strictly prohibited. 9. Never load a cylinder into enclosed vehicles, such as cars, vans, trucks, trailers, or campers due to high risk of explosion or fire. 10. The 1,000-pound rule. Never load or allow a customer to load over 1,000 pounds total cylinder weight into a vehicle unless it has the required DOT placards and the driver has a commercial driver's license with a hazardous materials endorsement. Please refer to your training manual for cylinder weights and measures. Your training manual also contains the 10 basic cylinder handling guidelines. In each section of the video, you will notice a strong emphasis on safety, as safety is always first, always. Now that you are familiar with the gases and their applications, let's move ahead to the transaction section and learn more about the cylinders and how to sell them. The transaction. Your customer will indicate to you that he or she is interested in purchasing or exchanging a cylinder. To ensure a proper and profitable transaction, it will be necessary to get a cage key holder to assist in the transaction. The customer must own the cylinder offered for exchange. Leased or rented cylinders will not be accepted. For a purchase, the cage key holder must determine the customer's needs and recommend the appropriate gas and cylinder size, then relay this information to the cashier. This could involve a visit to the cylinder cage with the customer and a return trip outside during loading and to secure the cage. For an exchange, the cage key holder is needed to verify that the cylinder the customer is wanting to exchange meets all requirements, such as ownership, test date, condition, size, gas type from the DOT label, cylinder type, and if size 3 or larger, does it have a metal cylinder cap? The cage key holder then relays all appropriate charges to the cashier: size, gas type, cylinder cap, retest fee. The cage key holder should also be available during loading and securing the cage. How to identify the cylinder contents. An acceptable cylinder always has a legible DOT label located on the shoulder of the cylinder to identify the contents or type of gas within the cylinder. Always identify the contents of a cylinder by the DOT label. Always. It's that easy. How to identify the cylinder size. Each Thoroughbred cylinder is numbered 1 through 6. To determine the size, just look for the number. It's that easy. If you are unsure of the size of an empty incoming cylinder, simply compare it to a numbered Thoroughbred cylinder with the same type of DOT label. Here's an example. An empty incoming number 2 acetylene cylinder can only be exchanged for a full number 2 Thoroughbred acetylene cylinder. An empty incoming number 3 oxygen cylinder can only be exchanged for a full number 3 Thoroughbred oxygen cylinder. Any difference in size should be minimal. Currently, there is no procedure to upgrade or downgrade sizes during the exchange process. How to identify a full or empty cylinder. Once again, Thoroughbred has made it easy with our exclusive tamper-evident valve protection seal. So look for the seal. All full Thoroughbred cylinders have the seal in place over the valve and secured by the heavy zip tie band. Never remove the seal yourself. It should only be removed by the customer after purchase prior to use. If a cylinder does not have the Thoroughbred seal, or if any part of the seal or its zip tie band has been removed or is not fully intact, the cylinder is considered empty. For transaction purposes, all incoming customer-owned cylinders are considered empty, always. Again, there are no exceptions. How to identify acceptable cylinders. Your thoroughness in examining and identifying potentially dangerous incoming cylinders is very important. There are two major points of concern. You should avoid anything unsafe that could result in an injury and anything unwise that could result in a financial loss to your company. To avoid creating expensive hazardous material disposal fees for your company, it is mandatory that all incoming cylinders are exchanged for the same size Thoroughbred cylinders with the same type of DOT label. See the 10 basic handling guidelines listed in the training manual. In identifying acceptable cylinders, you will be looking for anything out of the ordinary, such as gouges, dents, excessive rust or pitting, arc burns, unreadable or missing DOT labels, scratched off serial numbers, damaged valves, cylinders containing any gas other than those offered by Thoroughbred Industrial Cylinder Exchange, and in the case of sizes 3 or larger, missing screw-on metal cylinder caps. When a customer brings in a size 3 or larger cylinder without a screw-on metal cylinder cap, it's your job to sell them a cap from your store's inventory. The only exception is the Lindy-style acetylene cylinder, which does not require a metal cylinder cap because the valve is protected by the high collar. Otherwise, because of federal law, Thoroughbred will not pick up and transport these size cylinders without the metal cylinder caps. Unacceptable cylinders cannot be traded into the program under any circumstances. With Thoroughbred, a customer will consistently receive a new or freshly painted DOT-compliant cylinder with each transaction. For this reason, hydrostatic retest fees still apply to all non-flammable cylinders with an expired test date. To find the most recent test date, look on the cylinder shoulder. A 5-year test date is the most recent date without a star. For instance, 0102 is approved through January 2007. A 10-year test date is the most recent date with a star. The example shown here is approved through January 2012. If you have any questions, refer to your training manual or call Thoroughbred Customer Service at 877-GAS-PONY. That's 877-427-7669. How to fill out the Cylinder Ownership Acknowledgement Form. This form must be filled out as part of every transaction without exception. The customer must own the cylinder offered for exchange. Leased or rented cylinders will not be accepted. To complete the form, first, write in the quantity of the type of gas or gases being purchased. Second, write in the size of the cylinder or cylinders under the DOTE number remarks column. Third, assist the customer in filling out his or her name, address, phone number, and driver's license or government-issued ID number in the lower right-hand corner. This information is critical and must be performed in every transaction. Fourth, get the customer's signature in the space provided. Fifth, sign and date the form in the lower left-hand corner. Sixth, the loader should sign the retailer verification at the top of the form. It may be helpful to explain to the customer the form is required by the Department of Transportation for transporting cylinders and that emergency information is on the back of the form. When completed, keep the white copy and give the yellow copy to the customer. The white copy should be kept on file for at least 1 year. A complete color-coded step-by-step guide on how to fill out this form is provided in your training manual. How, what, and when to charge the customer. Charging the customer is easy too. There are only 4 items to charge for: the contents, the cylinder, a screw-on metal cylinder cap if applicable, a hydrostatic retest fee if applicable, and that's it. The following are samples of each transaction and when charges apply. The exchange scenario. The customer must own the cylinder offered for exchange. Leased or rented cylinders will not be accepted. When a customer brings in a Thoroughbred cylinder to exchange, first, charge for the contents. Second, charge for a screw-on metal cylinder cap if it's missing from the cylinder on sizes 3 or larger. Third, charge for the hydrostatic retest fee on non-flammable cylinders if the test date has expired. When a customer brings in an empty non-Thoroughbred cylinder, first, charge for the contents. Second, charge for a screw-on metal cylinder cap if it's missing from the cylinder on sizes 3 or larger. Third, Charge for the hydrostatic retest fee on all non-flammable cylinders if the test date has expired. The purchase scenario. When a customer buys a Thoroughbred cylinder, 1. Charge for the contents. 2. Charge for the cylinder. And that's it. Convenient, simple, and easy. Because nobody makes it easier to exchange a cylinder than we do. After the transaction, be sure the metal cylinder cap is secure on sizes 3 and larger before loading the cylinder into the customer's open vehicle. Due to the weight and hazard, this is a required 2-person lift and should involve 2 store personnel and not the customer. Be sure to let the customer know that he or she will be responsible for securing the cylinder in an upright position. Due to liability reasons, store personnel are prohibited from securing the cylinders for customer transport. Remember to always use the Thoroughbred cylinder cart and secure with the cylinder cart chains when transporting cylinders to and from a customer's vehicle. Never load a cylinder into enclosed vehicles such as cars, vans, trucks, trailers, or campers due to high risk of explosion or fire. Let the customer know you can't stop them from loading into the enclosed vehicle, but store policy prohibits you from assisting because of the danger. It would be preferable for them to return with an open truck for transporting. And always thank the customer for the business and return the cart to the cage and lock the cage doors. Be sure to give the store copy of the cylinder ownership acknowledgement form to the store manager to keep on file for up to 1 year. Following these guidelines will ensure safe and proper exchange and purchase transactions. As a final note to a good and profitable transaction, ask yourself, first, did you charge for a missing screw-on metal cylinder cap on sizes 3 and larger? Second, did you charge for the correct size and type of cylinder when a customer didn't have an acceptable cylinder to exchange? Third, did you charge for the correct size and type of contents? Every transaction includes a contents charge. Fourth, did you charge for a retest fee on out-of-date non-flammable cylinders? Fifth, did you check the customer's ID and properly complete the cylinder ownership acknowledgement form? Asking these simple questions is a good habit towards helping you achieve your company's sales goals and facilitating good inventory control. To complete the success of the program, the focus of the next section is inventory control. Inventory control. Thoroughbred takes a proactive approach in servicing our customers because we understand your time is valuable. Our goal is to make each delivery accurate, on time, and easy. That's why the Thoroughbred delivery ticket reconciles the cage at time of delivery by identifying desired inventory, full and empty cylinders, cylinders sold, cylinders delivered, contents sold, contents delivered, non-Thoroughbred exchange fee when applicable, retest fees where applicable, the UPC for each inventory item, the purchase order number for the current delivery, and it documents unacceptable cylinders. As we continue to strive to be easy to do business with, the following procedures are proof positive of a timely and courteous delivery experience. Follow along as we review the restocking